Hey friends, whenever I browse the internet, I see more and more videos and articles of people talking about the China and US trade war. And I think we should start talking about covering more relevant nuanced topics. Anyway, let's talk about 5G. If you have been keeping up with current stories and news, you probably will have heard of these two words a lot. But do you know what it actually is? Well, to start off, 5G is basically the fifth generation of cellular network. If you don't know what a cellular network is, it's basically a radio network that's distributed through cells. Now, hearing about the fifth gen, you must be wondering about the previous generations. Or maybe not. But I'll tell you anyway. The first generation, or 1G, was launched in Japan back in the late 70s. This generation only allowed calls as it was analog, and only allowed analog signals to be sent over. To top it off, the calls were prone to poor voice quality and had a little to no security, meaning people could easily tap to your line and listen to your crazy cat lady of grandma talking about her cats. And also, calls get dropped a lot. Anyway, moving on to 2G, it was a big leap in evolving from 1G. It finally has text messages. Yes, only by this point, text messages were possible. The messages can be sent in digital data form, as now it uses digital signals instead of analog. And this also enabled more data to be transferred through the network in other forms. One such form is multimedia messages, or MMS for short. This form allows multimedia data such as images or videos to be sent. So, instead of your grandma calling you to talk about her cats, she can straight up send you images and video of her cats. Finally, at the break of the year 2000, the world has finally been graced with the holy network that is 3G. "3G was a godsend as it allows the access to the internet, which also means that now your grandma will finally stop sending you thousand upon thousand of images and video of her cats, as she's capable to connect with other crazy grandmas online. Finally, I'll tell you what's the current generation of cellular network. The one we and the most of the world are using. 4G. So what's so good about 4G? And what makes it different from 3G that everyone swapped to this instead? Heck, I don't know. All I can see is just faster 3G. Well anyway, let's move to 5G. What makes 5G so special and so good that everyone's talking about it? Heck, I don't know too. It looks like a faster 4G, which makes it a faster 3G. Why don't we just call 5G as 4G Turbo? Joking aside, let's dwell in more details about 5G, shall we? To start it off, 5G runs on two types of frequency ranges as of now. So, let's just refer to them as FR1 and FR2. FR1, also known as sub-6 GHz, has its range placed below 6 GHz, while the most popular band to be used is around 3.5 GHz. While FR2, also known as millimeter wave, is what most people would consider as 5G, has a range between 24 GHz and up to 300 GHz. Because of the high frequency that it runs on, which has less devices on it, 5G is able to support higher data transfer speed without interfering with other wireless signals, and thus making it able to support much more than what 4G can. However, here's the catch with using this super fast wireless network. The high frequency, even as fast as they can't escape the fact that it has a short wavelength and coverage, as it can travel far and it's almost impossible to penetrate solid obstacles. An example scenario will be if you are sitting at a bus stop, watching some cat videos while waiting for your bus, but then, suddenly, your grandma drives by in a luxury car to flex on you of how poor you are. You may lose your confidence right there, and also your connection. 5G can also have much higher bandwidth than 4G, which enable it to support massive multiple input and massive multiple output, or massive MIMO for short. Why is it a good thing, you may ask? Well, it can increase the network capacity by enabling 5G NR deployment in the higher frequency range in FR1, and then employing multi-user MIMO, where multiple users are served with the same time and frequency of resources. It also means that the large data files can be transferred through the network in a much higher speed. Besides that, with increased network capacity, more users can be connected to the network while still enjoying high-speed internet. However, there's a problem with this, as it uses antennas in an array to broadcast signal in all directions, which will cause interference with other devices within the vicinity. Well, 5G is fine and dandy, but of course it still comes with problems. Well, you maybe have already noticed that the 5G has quite a number of flaws. So now, let me just pull up the current problems that I spoke of just now. Okay, so with all of these problems, let us just see how the problems have been solved. The first one. Small coverage, eh? If one tower with only covers a small portion, why not just put a lot of towers to make more small portion covering more area? And that is exactly what's being done. It's called small cells. It's basically having smaller antennas to broadcast signals in smaller areas. It's been around for quite some time, but it has now become a trendy topic as it has something to do with 5G. Hey, wait a second. This also solves the problem with the wireless network not being able to penetrate solid objects and reach certain places. Instead of trying to penetrate them, why not just go around them? Hey, that's like hitting two birds with one stone. Not bad. Moving on, another problem that can be faced by 5G when not done properly will be caused by its massive MIMO. It keeps causing interference towards other devices when it broadcasts signal in all directions. But this can be solved by beamforming. Beamforming basically allows radio signals to be directly transmitted towards the receiver instead of transmitting in all directions. So that problem is solved. Okay, alright, enough with 5G for now. My brain is already starting to fry from all the waves emitted from it. Alright, let's now sit back and relax beside the sea. And do you know what's beside the sea? The port, of course. Anyway, before talking about ports, I guess I should explain what a port is first. A port is basically a commercial place used by a ship for loading cargo. But of course, in this modern day, after using the same method for over a few decades, the boring old traditional ports are facing a quite number of problems. And all of these problems can be solved by converting these old and boring ports into a smart and interesting smart ports. Before we can talk about smart ports, why don't we learn what a smart port is? By definition, a smart port is a normal port that has been equipped with newly developed technologies such as big data, Internet of Things, blockchain solutions, and other smart technology-based methods to improve the performance and the economy of the ports, while also improving the environmental sustainability. The idea of an ideal smart port is for it to use IoT to connect with devices and automate them. This way, you can watch cat videos while they do the job for you. To put it in simple terms, smart ports are supposed to use smart technology solutions to increase efficiency, effectiveness, and security, which can be achieved by the ports being able to handle more traffic, to be environmentally sustainable, and economically efficient. Now that we know what 5G and ports are, It's time to fuse them together into a smart port and move on to solving the problem faced by the old normal ports. But before that, let's just take a moment to talk about why. Why are we fusing 5G together with ports to form smart ports? Well then, let's start off with the simple question of why 5G should be implemented instead of optical fiber. Currently, optical fiber cannot be deployed or is rather difficult and very costly to be deployed, while wireless connections are flexibly deployable at a lower cost, which can be served as a good alternative or substitute to optical fiber. But why 5G? Why not 4G? This is because 5G is the newest generation of a cellular network and is the highest in terms of transfer speed and bandwidth. So it makes almost no sense to be using an inferior version of itself. With 5G's large bandwidth and massive connectivity capabilities, it can support the backhaul of multi-channel high-definition videos and sensor data. Okay, so let's just list out what I've talked about for a brief moment for those who was waiting for too long didn't read version. Okay, so now that we know why 5G is being used, we can now talk about how to fix problems faced by the current traditional ports by implementing automation and 5G. Let's list them out. Let's be real here. Having 5G is just going to automate most stuff and take over human work. Anyway, the first two problems are quite simple and have been solved over and over again by using the same, if not very similar method. That is, automation. The problems can be solved just by simply automating some repetitive and tedious work and not wasting resources on humans. This can save labor costs as automated robots tend to be more consistent than humans, as they don't really have human errors that may cost more to fix. Moving on, harsh-working environments. If it's too dangerous to send humans in there, just send in robots that can be controlled by human operators. Still with robots, we can simply just solve the problem of not enough manpower. Just automate some things and just let one human operator control multiple robots and machines wirelessly. Moving on to the last problem. Finally, something that doesn't involve with so much robots, but still using some automation. The problem of shipping throughput increasing can be solved by just increasing efficiency of processing ships. Just add more automation, it will decrease the shipping time by a bit. Okay, so now that we know why 5G is used, let's move into the how part. Based on surveys, analysis, and discussions carried out by the partner from the port industry, these are the identified scenarios that require 5G and how it can be implemented. Firstly, video surveillance can be better utilized if combined with artificial intelligence recognition. This technology can be used for identifier purposes. For example, container IDs can be identified using cameras on cranes and automatic cargo tally implemented with AI-based identifications. Besides that, 5G is also used in evolution of automated guided vehicles or AGVs into intelligent guided vehicles or IGVs. In the future, IGVs may be integrated with more cameras to better detect its surrounding, which demands for uplink bandwidth may reach around 10 to 20 megabits per second per IGV. And 5G is expected to be able to provide better network for this type of applications. Secondly, the quayside container cranes can be remotely controlled using the same excuse of 5G having high data transfer rate. Now, the quayside container crane is the main service unit by the quay area. Besides those, the gantry cranes can also be remotely controlled through 5G. By implementing 5G technologies, remote control, cameras, and programmable logic controllers or PLCs can be installed on gantry cranes so the operator can complete gantry crane operation remotely from the central control room through video surveillance. PLC communication between the central control room and a gantry crane require a network latency of less than 30 milliseconds, which can be done by using 5G technology. So, that's the end of how 5G and automation can be implemented into ports. Now, let's talk about benefits of using 5G in smart ports. 5G's high bandwidth with low latency has enabled much more automation of the smart port. It enables high-definition video surveillance, AI recognition, and intelligence guidance vehicle in the port, which greatly reduces labor costs, improves security, and ease the management of the ports. In short, the efficiency of the smart port can be enhanced tremendously by using the 5G technology. So, for easier reference and understanding, here's a too long didn't listen list. If you have any question to ask, please comment on this video and we'll try to reply to you as fast as humanly possible. And also, if you like the content, then please press the like button and share to your friends and family. This is Group 38, signing off.